Welcome to the next lesson, calculating the true cost of a product. And here's what we're going to be covering. Why calculating the true cost of a product is critical to your business, what goes into the true cost of a product, how to determine your final 3 suppliers for each product opportunity, and how to get an accurate estimate of shipping and freight costs. Knowing the true cost of your product is critical for several reasons. You need to do this before ordering samples, otherwise it could be a waste of money. You need an accurate assessment of potential profit for the products you're looking at. You don't want to do all this work only to find out that you can't make any money. And it does help you compare your top 3 product opportunities and finally pick the single best one. So what's included in the true product cost? Well, it includes the total product cost from your supplier, also including packaging, logo, color, and inserts. Basically, anything that you'll pay your supplier for that product. It also includes shipping from the supplier all the way to Amazon, and then an FBA label fee of 20 cents per unit. Let me quickly show you how we're going to be tracking this on our product opportunity spreadsheet. So here I am on the product opportunity spreadsheet, and I'm starting to clean things up a bit because I'm going to be adding a lot more information to this, and I want to get as much stuff that I don't care to see out of the way. Now I know that I'm going to be looking at 3 different product opportunities still: the mini clothing steamer, the LED Lightbox tracer, and the car wash shampoo. I've given up on the softball fielder's mask because I couldn't find any suppliers for it. So other than those 3 that I just mentioned, I want to hide the rest so they don't get in my way. I simply highlight those columns, right mouse click, and say hide. And then the other ones that I haven't hid yet, these 3 over here, I'm also going to hide. So then I'm left with just these 3 product opportunities that I'm currently looking at. In the previous lesson, we contacted 5 to 10 different suppliers for each of our top 3 product opportunities. In this lesson, we need to start narrowing things down. And we're going to narrow down our suppliers to just 3 for each of our top 3 product opportunities. In order to make that more manageable, I've went ahead and added a few sections here that allow us to easily see our true product cost and profit for each product and for each one of our top 3 suppliers as well. Each product will now have a section enter information for supplier number 1, for supplier number 2, and also for supplier number 3. And if you notice, each one of these is identical and includes information that we just talked about in the previous slide. For every supplier, we have the supplier price, the shipping to Amazon, and the FBA label service fee. Those are the 3 items we just talked about in the previous slide. And we'll use those to calculate these other columns, but over here, we'll be entering this all during this video, or at least when it's over. The supplier price will be the total price of the product you pay to your supplier, including packaging, logos, or any inserts. The shipping will estimate, and I'll show you how to do that. We'll come up with an estimate per product to get that all the way from your supplier to Amazon. And then the FBA label service fee will always be 20 cents no matter what. Now, we're not going to go through and do all this moment, but I wanted to show you how you're going to be using this spreadsheet when entering the information on your products and your suppliers throughout the rest of this video. So now that we just looked at our product opportunity spreadsheet and recognized that we're only going to be tracking 3 suppliers for each of our top 3 products, it's time that we actually have to narrow down our suppliers to those top 3. Once you've heard back from your potential suppliers, and I realize you just watching this video now, you may not have heard back yet, but when you do hear back to them, you'll need to narrow down to your top 3 for each product based upon the following criteria: how responsive they were, how willing they were to be flexible in working with you, the price they gave you, the minimum order quantity, and then their product and packaging options. There is no magic formula for choosing your top 3 suppliers for each product. You can't simply go by price. You can't simply go by MOQ. You have to look at everything that they return with you and the entire experience of dealing with them in order to determine which 3 suppliers for each product you feel like you have the best chance of getting a really good product and a really good deal from. So once we've narrowed down the list of potential suppliers to just 3 for each product, once again, here's what we're going to need: the product cost, including packaging, inserts, logo, and everything else, and this will come from the supplier; the shipping estimate, and this will either come from the supplier or we'll calculate it by using the carton dimensions that the supplier has given us. And I'm going to show you a tool after the slide here so we can use that. And then we also need to know the Amazon FBA label fee, which is always 20 cents. So we should already have the product cost since we've already narrowed down a list to the 3 suppliers, and that was one of the things that they had to give to us. And we absolutely know that the label fee is always 20 cents. So that means that all that's left is a shipping estimate. If we've gotten that from the supplier, that's great. If not, and we're sending something internationally, I'm going to show you how to do that next. If your supplier is located in the same country as you, they should be able to give you a pretty good estimate of how much it's going to cost to have their product shipped from their warehouse to Amazon. And since we're actually using Amazon's UPS rates, it's going to be lower than whatever they give you, but that'll be a good estimate to start with. Now, if you have to ship your products overseas, it's not quite as simple. If you have a freight forwarder, that would be the first person that I would call. They're by far and away going to give you the most accurate quote on exactly what it'll cost, and they usually turn around in a couple days. If you don't have one, however, or you just want to try using an online tool to get a general idea, we've come across a pretty good site that'll give you a fairly accurate overseas shipping estimate. Now, instead of typing in that link, by the way, you'll find that link in the PDFs below this video and also in the private resource vault. What we'll need in order to use the calculator are the shipping dimensions, and that's in cubic meters and kilograms. Your supplier should be able to give this to you, and you'll want to make sure that you have the cubic meters and kilograms for the entire shipment, not just for one unit and not just for one carton. Now remember, when you use this calculator, it does not include customs duty, which is basically a tax on importing products. However, the average duty rate is 5% of the product cost. It has nothing to do with the shipping costs. So sometimes people try to just add on 20% of the shipping estimate, but since the duty has nothing to do with that, it's best, since you know what you're paying for these products, to just multiply the total cost you're paying to your supplier by 5% and add it to whatever shipping estimate you'll be getting from this tool. The last thing you'll need to enter into the tool is the Amazon FBA warehouse closest to you. Don't worry if it's actually not the one you'll be sending it to. As long as it's close to the final destination, the estimate we're getting should be fairly accurate. Before we actually walk through this example of calculating shipping costs, let's actually go over and use that tool so we can see how to use it. Here I am on the tool, and as you can see, there's a couple different options here. We don't want to send a full container. I don't think we're quite ready for that. What we're going to keep it on is boxes and crates or pallets. And instead of specifying the dimensions of each one, you want to go ahead and give them the total volume. That's just easier and more accurate to do. Now in my example here, we have 7.22 cubic meters, and that's listed right there. And I know that my shipment is also 1,008 kilograms. Now I just picked any port that I thought a product might be coming from. I picked Ningbo, and let's go in then and choose a Amazon FBA warehouse. So none of these are terribly close. I'll go to the Kentucky one. Let's say that it's Columbia. And then last thing is just to get, you know what, I'm going to go a little closer, Tennessee and Charleston. Then let's get some freight estimates. And there we go. Not only does it give us the ocean estimate right here, it's also giving us an air freight estimate too, which is pretty cool. A lot of estimators don't give that. But as you can see, the air freight is about 5 times more than the ocean freight. Now remember, we still have to add in the 5% of the total cost of these products, but let's go use these in the calculator to come up with a shipping estimate. So now we can walk through this example of a shipping cost estimate. Let's imagine I bought 1,000 units at $8.05 each. So the total invoice was $8,000.50. The only reason I need that is to calculate the duty fees. The dimensions again were 7.72 cubic meters and 1,008 kilograms. So when I put that into the calculator, the ocean shipping per the calculator was $1,099. Now I need to add in the 5% of my invoice, which comes out to be $402.50. Therefore, the total shipping is $1,501.50. And when I divide that among the 1,000 units I have, that means that my shipping per unit is $1.50. And that's what I would be entering into our product opportunity spreadsheet. Okay, so now we're at the very end of this lesson, and it's time to start taking action. For each of your top 3 product opportunities, if you've heard back from your suppliers for each one, I want you to take the following steps. Update the final product costs using the total product cost that you receive back from each of your top 3 suppliers. So that'll be a total of 9 updates, 3 on each product. Also, update the estimated shipping costs using the shipping dimensions you also receive from them. And then you might as well add in the 20-cent FBA labeling fee as well. Now, please note that the estimated shipping costs for each product should be the same among each supplier. So if you have 3 suppliers, which you should, for one product, and you estimate the shipping cost for one of them, you should be able to use that for all 3, because if the products are very similar, then the cost for shipping them should be very close as well. So here's what's coming next. Once we've added in all the true product costs to our spreadsheet, we'll then be able to calculate our actual profit margin. And having our profit margin will help us determine our final product opportunity. We'll go from 3 product opportunities down to the one that we actually will be able to order our samples with and then get moving on creating our own physical products business. So once you have everything done here, head on over to the next video and I'll see you there.